After 16 days of the war in Gaza, Israel has made it quite clear that Hamas has to go. The Israel Defense Forces say that their mission is to dismantle the political apparatus and the military machinery of Hamas, which begs the questions, at what cost for Gaza and its inhabitants? What happens when Hamas has been neutralized? How will Gaza be governed, and who will govern it? And are we at the cusp of fresh Israeli occupation? 4 scenarios basically are being talked about in Tel Aviv and Washington as to what could the coming months have in store for Gaza. In a potential power vacuum created by the eradication of Hamas, there is the unlikely possibility that Israel may look towards other Palestinian political groups to assume governance of Gaza. And this could be an accommodation with the Fatah-ruled Palestinian Authority, who might be allowed to form a civilian government with military control remaining in the hands of the IDF. And this seems unlikely as the Palestinian Authority remains unpopular in the West Bank due to deep-seated corruption issues. Fatah briefly came to power through elections in Gaza between 2005 to 2007. However, it lost the mandate to Hamas in succeeding polls. And in the second scenario, Israel, Gaza and the entire region faring far worse with the destruction of infrastructure, civilian damage and unavailability of the basic amenities. Gaza could be completely destabilized. Extremist forces like the Islamic State or one of its affiliates could be taking control of pockets, leading to bigger problems in southern Gazan cities like Rafah. A destabilized Gaza could also birth new extremist groups worse than Hamas. And the third scenario has an indefinite Israeli reoccupation of the Gaza Strip. Israel did control the coastal conclave for close to 40 years before it pulled out in 2005. A reoccupation will aggravate Palestinian resentment towards the Israeli regime. It could also motivate a new, younger generation of combatants to take up arms against the occupying forces. And furthermore, it could force countries like the US and Iran into a war. A sustained reoccupation would also prevent Israel from normalizing ties with its Arab neighbors. Any hope for the eventual resurrection of the US-brokered Israeli-Saudi Arabia normalization agreement could be foreclosed. Lastly, there is also the unlikely possibility of international trusteeship of Gaza that would see the interim governance of the Strip while permanent solutions are worked out. And this would be similar to the mandate system that predates the creation of the Israeli state. The UN could serve as a steward, directing cash infusions for humanitarian relief and rebuilding of Gazan cities. Peacekeeping forces could oversee elections. While the final scenario may sound good on paper, mediation, coordination, and agreement between all the parties involved in the conflict is highly unlikely. As Israel prepares for a potential ground invasion of Gaza, the end game of Israel beyond the eradication of Hamas remains unclear, and so does the fate of the people of Palestine. And our correspondent Jody Cohen getting us these latest updates from a bomb shelter in Ranana, Israel. Take a look.
So there is a concern of this spreading further. We know that the United States and others are trying to keep Hezbollah out. Remember, Hezbollah have been sending rockets and missiles and attempting infiltrations also from Lebanon into Israel. They have been liaising with the US and others have been liaising with Lebanon to try and put pressure on Hezbollah, who, remember, are part of the government in Lebanon. Now, the Hezbollah deputy chief has said that Hezbollah is very much in the battle with Hamas. And on Sunday, the Israel Defense Forces said that they struck a Hezbollah cell in Lebanon 5 times to try and prevent them from striking. And they say that they're trying to avoid a new war front opening up there. Now, the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has said that the US is concerned about Iranian proxies attacking Americans and Israel. And Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has said that the US have activated air defense systems in West Asia and alerted US forces that they could be deployed soon. And he said that that was in response to, quote, recent escalations by Iran and its proxy forces. And he believes that this will bolster regional deterrence efforts. The US is reportedly also advising Israel to delay its Gaza operation to try to use diplomacy to get more hostages released. Remember, 2 American hostages were released a few days ago, and approximately 230 are thought to be held currently in Gaza by Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Israel says in the meantime it's still clearing explosives and weapons by the Gaza border.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.